Hello everyone, this is Dr. Divya Madan from soulfullivingllc.com, and today we are on chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita, the timeless wisdom of leadership and spirituality. How is it going for all of you? Do you guys get any chance to contemplate on what's going on? What we are talking? Are we trying to implement it in our lives in any ways?
Yes, दिव्या जी सभी चीज को कोशिश कर रहे हैं और अच्छा भी चल रहा है। जो बताते हैं उसको दिन भर उसको ध्यान में रख के उस चीज को फॉलो करते हैं। पीछा जो चल रहा है 7 दिन से 7 चैप्टर हो गया, उसको ध्यान में रख के एक दिन का काम कर रहे हैं।
निष्काम है ना। एंड जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, जय श्री कृष्ण बोल के हम आगे बढ़ रहे, और मैं जैसे जैसे समझने, मतलब इतना बड़ा सत्य है, इट्स लाइक अ wisdom, right? It's a true wisdom which has not changed in thousands of years, right? It was, some people said 7,000, 5,000 or 10,000 years ago. So the truth, which is like, people say this is Sar of Vedas, it is coming from 4 Vedas. But even for me, when I am like trying to just understand, like imbibe the knowledge and then express it in a way that a normal human being can understand, is becoming like more and more subtler and difficult. So for me, the knowledge that I have acquired by looking at the past lives of people, that what they did in the past lives and what they have become today, that has become like, when I am going through Gita, like I'm like definitely referring to many books, many editions, many versions of it. Before I come in front of you, I check everything, and I have been reading it before too, but here when I'm presenting, it is my responsibility to make sure that I, before giving it out, I understand it fully. And I always felt that people, when they die, the time of death, whatever they are thinking or whatever state they are in, they start from there in the next life. So people who died thinking that they cannot walk, in the next life, either they had some issue in their feet, or they suffered from polio, and those kind of things I had seen. People who died thinking that they were not loved, their husband did not respect them, they were not respected enough. Next life, they came into a life where they were not respected. So now, let's pray to the divine, pray to the Sri Krishna, the Krishna consciousness. Close your eyes, focus on your crown. Breathe in, breathe out. Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And now, let's focus on our third eye and the crown. Pray to the divine lights and energies. Om Gam Ganapate. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushtivardhanam Vandanam Pratyom Mokshayam Muktam. Om Bhurvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhinna Prachodayat. Make sure you call upon a divine healing bowl, and whatever we are learning, we are storing it there. Now, let's get started. So this is being talked in the battlefield where Arjun is conflicted. How should I fight my own cousins? Even now, lots of people, they're like, it should have been avoided, right? Many of us here is like, what do you think about the battle that happened? And the first thing that will come into the mind of people who have not studied Gita, the first thing would be, they should have avoided. What was the necessity? Was it really necessary to fight? The cousin should fight, and that too in a battlefield, right? But the timeless wisdom that came from that fight, that we are still holding on to and still true. Every single word taught there is true. So this chapter started with Arjun asking questions. So this time his question was, Krishna, what is that Brahma? Brahma means like, what is that absolute? What is adidhav? Means what is spirit or a spiritual science? What is adhiyagya? He also asked about what is karma. We have been talking about karma, right? Do your work, do your work. He still is asking, what is karma? What is the definition? What is adiboot? Adiboot means what is matter? What is the term adidhav? Adidhav is the divine intelligence. So how many questions he's already asked? 5. One is, what is Brahma? Brahma means creation. Brahma. What is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is actually spirituality means? What is karma? Means action. What is adiboot? The matter. So you guys can start writing the questions and we can discuss about the understanding that, because it is very important. What is Brahma? What is Adhyatma? What is karma? What is adiboot? Adiboot, matter. What is adidhav? Which is divine intelligence. Also he asks about Adhiyagya and what you should be realizing at the time of death. Start thinking, like, what is creation? What do you think is creation is? What is spirituality in your mind? So I will continue talking about it. So Bhagavan said, the supreme indestructible, something which is Akshara. Akshara means something which cannot be destroyed. Shar means destruction. Akshara, which cannot be destroyed, is the Brahma. So, and then one own self, the individual self, understanding of your individual self is the adhyatma or the spiritual science. Like understanding your own spirit is adhyatma or spirituality. And then action is something which brings something into existence. So when something comes into the existence, like in the material form, that is matter. Everything which is perishable, anything which can be destructed or destroyed is adibhuta. Means panchabhut. We talked about anything which is made up of earth, water, air, fire, space is destructible. So this is called adibhuta. Adidhav is like the shining Purusha, like everyone has this base, the soul. That is called adidhav, that divine intelligence which dwells into every being, the intellect. Remember, we kept talking about that every cell has its own intellect. So that divine intellect which dwells into every being. Just to make you all understand what is intellect, right? So the cell which is of the structure of teeth, like all the cells which has a structure of teeth or liver or heart, they are connected together. Like you will not find the same cell which is like the shape or something, like there's something uniqueness, so that it belongs to the heart, or it belongs to the liver, or it belongs to your eyes, or it belongs to your hair. There's a composition. Cell has electron, proton, neutron for sure, but the composition of the hair and eyes and nose are all, or tongue is not same, right? So how those cells know where they belong, how they are developed there? So there is an intelligence. Like for example, like let's not even go there. Like when a dog is born, or a cow is born, or even human child is born, how do they know to suck milk from their mother? Does anyone teach them? There's so many things that people do not have to be taught. They know it, right? Many other things that you do not, even if you do not put your consciousness, it keeps working. So that is the adidhav, the divine intelligence, and one which is like watching you all the time. So you are the observer. Whatever you do, you are the observer. So one which is dwelling within, that intelligence, which is observing you every single moment, is the adidhav. And then adhiyagya is something when you become one with the divine. So again, let me just go back, because it is a little complicated to understand, but why it is important to understand? Because the creation happens, okay? So creation starts, the Brahma, when he wakes up, the whole universe gets awakened. When it gets awakened, the soul forms. When the soul forms, it has to do some kind of work. When it is doing some kind of work, it has to be connected to the matters, which is made up of earth, water, air, fire, space. And then those matter also, it has to be, even if you are acting upon it, what it is being told, that you should be also connected to the divine. So even you are coming from that creation, you are going outwards, but you have to get dissolved back into it. So just making it a full circle. So now the next question is, what should be the state of a human being at the time of death? So Krishna says, one who departs from the body thinking of me and me alone, if at the time of death attains the state where there is no, attains and reaches to me, and there's no doubt about it. So during death, or at the time of death, the mind should be fixated into the supreme consciousness. So again, he says, and again he says, when they leave their body at the time of death, whatever state they are in, that is what they get absorbed in. So if you are thinking of, I told you in the beginning, because I have seen various past lives of people, and I felt that when they, whatever state whatever they die thinking, if they were worried about their family members, or if they were resentful of their family members, or whatever part of the body they were like in pain, and that their mind was going into the pain, like I'm hurting in my leg, or I'm hurting in my ear, or whatever, or I'm just tired of hearing this sound, I don't want to hear this again. So whatever was the state of mind, exactly where they took birth. So that is why it is said that one should never commit suicide, because when they're killing themselves, obviously you're not, nobody else killed you, you yourself killed yourself. So you must be in a state of deep depression. So it will not solve anything. You will take a rebirth if you can, if you're not dwelling in the Pretatma, which is not written in Gita right now, which we are talking about. But what my understanding is, when the body, when a soul leaves the body, the mind is also traveling with it, because you have not attended nirvana. And when you leave in the state of sadness or hopelessness or sorrow or pain, like if your mind is fixated on any one of those, what happens? There are some of the souls, because the journey that I have seen for people after death, many people took like paths, different paths. They went there, they went to multiple lokas. But some people did not make it there. I have like at least seen like maybe 15-20 people, like at least going higher, and every journey was different. After one state it all felt same, but reaching to that state, everyone was different, and some of them even not gone to the first state. So I will talk about it more, like what happens after death. But right now, what we need to make sure that, and that we need to remain fixated on the Krishna consciousness. Krishna who's speaking here, that as like I am the Brahma, I am the one who, from where everything is created. But when he's saying I means the soul here. Aham Brahmasami. So he's talking about the self inside of him, not I as this person. So again and again, he is emphasizing that one has to remain in the yoga with the Supreme Consciousness, means in conjunction, in union with the Supreme Consciousness. So constantly bring that thought of that divine light that we have been talking about, the one which is beyond the creation. So if you are connecting to the divine light every time, and the light is falling on your crown, and you connect it to your third eye, throat, heart, Manipur, and then you go on to the solar plexus, sacral root, and all the way to the earth. So if you just connect it every day and you remain in the memory of it, that you will not be, your mind will be in your control. And when you are fixated, like then whatever you will be doing, you will never feel tired, because you are connected to the unlimited, infinite pool of energy. So this divine wisdom will be like understood, like you will be able to process, like every time you will be touching something, you would know where you are going too much, what is a priority, what is needed, what is not needed. You will be not fixated to the details too much. You will just go as much you have to go inside everything, anything, and you'll be like looking at like the broader picture, as well as like even you have to take care of everything. But it does not mean that you keep polishing one thing while leaving everything dirty, right? If you have like 5 utensils to wash, you cannot just spend all your time washing like just one. You have to take care of other 5 too. And then why you're washing it, if it is the purpose is to just drink water or something, like you have not going to. So basically, like if you know the purpose, I'm not going to dwell into it, you guys are very intelligent, so you would know how far you need to go and when you have to stop that job and focus onto something else, because time is limited. And when you are connected to the divine, then you will be whole soul, and you will be able to do it with focus and complete. So this is what he's talking about, that is what it should be in the time of death. but just by knowing it will not happen. It has to be a constant practice. If you have not studied for the whole year, if you just study for that one night, you might pass the exam, but the chances of you becoming like a 100% or a topper is slim, right? So that is what would happen, that you just cannot run a marathon one day. You have to practice. If you want to run like 5,000 miles, will you be able to run it in one day if you have not run ever? So you'll start running 5 miles, 7 miles, 10 miles, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you know what I mean, right? So that is what Krishna is saying, that every day you have to practice. You have to practice it as many times into the day and during the day to remain connected, so that whenever the time comes, immediately your energy shoots on the crown or inside the heart. So here he is saying that your focus should be inside the heart, and you should be going inside the heart and connect to your light, the light of your soul. What my understanding was, that the energy should come out from the crown. So I will just go with it. Probably if anything, if you are going inside the soul, probably that is also connected to the divine. So connecting with the soul will be able to connect to the supreme soul. So that is what Gita is saying, that you should be fixated in me, and during the time of death, your energy should be going inside of your heart and touch your soul. So I'll just take this for the time being, unless I have a better understanding of it. So Arjun, think of me at all times, and if it is set on me, if your mind is set on me, you will be able to attain me. Me means supreme consciousness, and you will be able to come out of the cycle of the life and death. So for that, he suggested meditation, that the person who meditates every day, that is what happens to him. Very interesting analogy came to me while I was listening to somebody, that mind is like milk, and when you add water to it, milk and water immediately, like, they just mix really well. So when the mind is not trained, it can just mix with anything coming its way. But when it's set like a curd, then only you can blow it, you can just churn it and make butter out of it. Butter or ghee out of it. And does it mix with water? Have you seen butter can be mixed with water, or a ghee can be mixed with water? No, it will still be separate, still be on the top. Right? So that is what meditation does to your mind. That there will be thousands of distractions, but it will still be above it. Am I making sense? Good. So remember, we did talk about the meditation, right? That was taught in one of the chapters, that your eyes should be focused few inches, like on the tip of the nose, and you breathe in from the nose and you blow out from your mouth. That was that twist that we were talking about. And when we do that, then you will start feeling that your energy gets fixated on your third eye. Try it. Let's take 10 breaths at least. So focus on the tip of the nose and breathe in from the nose and take out from your mouth. And now you can close your eyes and focus on your third eye. Could you feel that it was easy to go into meditation right away? So that is what Krishna is talking about, that when you are in yoga of yourself, when you focus on your third eye and it is firm over there, that is when you are in the state of meditation, and that is how you get into the union with the Supreme Consciousness. And if you just can do this at the time of death, and your mind is steadfast on the God, and you're just completely devoted to the Supreme Consciousness, you are out of the cycle of birth and death. So having controlled all the senses and firmly holding the mind in the heart and drawing the life breath to the head, okay, and thus remaining in the steadfast in yogic concentration of God, he who leaves the body departs, uttering the one destructible Brahma sound, Om, and dwelling in me in my absolute aspect, which is the Supreme Whole. So let's learn this meditation, which we'll be doing every day. So what I have been practicing for a while, it was like the beginning exercise that I did. What I taught in like the vertebra, this petals and all, this is like extension. But the basic, what Krishna is talking about, that if you firmly control your meditative state on your crown, third eye, and in your heart. So if your heart and crown is connected at the time of birth, so that is what I was thinking, but somehow I got confused. That in some versions it was like you need to focus on your heart, but that is what I always felt, that one has to be connected to the crown as well. So he says, like, when you are in your heart and then you connect to your crown and the divine sound Om, if that is practiced regularly at the time of death, you will be able to get fixated on your like third eye crown and the sound of Om, and that is the way to enter into the end of life. So we need to end this every day. We need to practice this every day. There's no need to be fearful of crossing, but we are definitely preparing not only for this life, like tomorrow. We all are very focused, right? When we are doing on something, we are extremely focused. Even if we are entertaining ourselves, like if we are watching TV or we are just looking at something in the media, we are cognizant about it, that what kind of content we are taking. And at least I am aware that how much time I'm spending and what kind of content I'm watching. And I definitely take out some time, which is like relaxation time. I take out time to learn something which is different from what I do all day. So like I give it like a small chunk of time so that my balance does not break. I have other side of me, which is like more like taking care of my household, my children, right? My family. So balancing it. But while I am doing all of these acts, I am not losing my awareness. I do not give in to things. If there's something which I feel that it's not something that I like, but that is the time that I'm like, I cannot be judgmental, because everything I know is right is not necessarily right. It could be my perception. Maybe the other person's way of thinking could be right too. So that has changed over the period of time. That the stubbornness about that how something should be done, I'm able to let it go. Everybody has a way of thinking and everybody is right or wrong. I do not want to be the judge. I'm definitely, some of the things I can clearly say that this kind of behavior is not acceptable. If somebody is not respectable, if somebody is talking behind somebody's back, obviously those things are still no for me. I'm not appreciating it. But somebody who's like doing anything which is sadhana, seva or satsang, I can say. And then there could be different ways to do sadhana. There could be different ways to do seva. There could be different ways to do satsang. There could be different ways to live their life. But what I feel, this is what I know as of now, does not mean that what other person is practicing is right or wrong. I'm not going to judge them. Let them just find their right path in their own way. What I'm trying to say here is everybody is walking in their own journey. If we try to interfere into their journey, what is going to happen? See, just understand it, because I can just go on talking about Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. The time of the death is like it is always better to die in Uttarayan and the right time. So Uttarayan is time between like from 14th of January, Sankrant to 6 months, which is like 14th of January to 14th of July. The sun is going up, and then sun is Dakshinayan when it is from July to December, right? So I have a little confusion here. Probably in India, Uttarayan is when the sun is like on the rise, like it's going into the summer and the rainy months, right? So that is the time, is the best time to release the body. Like recently we have seen at least 3 people I know, my father, Rashmi that we did, and Lataji, at least, like we know 3 divine souls who passed in February. It is like the immediately after Uttarayan. So 14th January is an Uttarayan, and these people passed around February, right? So this was like very close to Uttarayan. And Dakshinayan, when somebody passes after 14th of July, those people, I know some of the people who passed in August and September and October, etc. I know those people were not very happy with their situations in life. And let's just keep talking about, so Uttarayan. So we all should know. So what happened, like when Bhishma Pitama was dying, I do not know how many of you have seen Mahabharata. Bhishma Pitama waited, although he was lying on the Sharsaya, means he was on the bed of arrows, like he was like about to die, but he was waiting for the time of the death when the sun moved to Uttarayan. So basically it was like when after 14th of Jan, then he released his prana. So if we know that, if we are completely know that, and secondly, Krishna also talk about the moon. Remember, we do full moon and new moon, right? So when from new moon, it is more like on the light side. So there's a Krishna Paksha is the darker side, and the Shukla Paksha is the brighter side. So from the Purnamasi, when the moon is going towards Amavasya. So if somebody passes during the time of the darker time, in the Krishna Paksha, it is not the right time. When somebody, Krishna means dark, okay, and Shukla means bright. So the people should die on the Shukla Paksha and Uttarayana. So anything around Purnamasi, when it's like a full moon, when somebody passes during the full moon up to a certain period of time till the Krishna Paksha start, it is always a good time to leave birth. So Uttarayana, Shukla Paksha, remember that. Then, and very interestingly, I do not know how to explain that Brahmalok. So what Krishna said, that the Brahmalok, the timeline in the Brahmalok, like we are bounded by like 24 hours in a day, right? And then this is this much time in the year. But what he's saying is like the Brahmalok is basically when he awakes, this all universe is created. And when he goes to sleep, the annihilation happens, the pralaya happens. When we did Yoga Vasishtha, multiple times it came that it was like there was nothing, there was like snow and there was nothing, then there was fire and there was like everything got burnt. So there is like the thousands of yugas or mahayugas consist of a kal. So kal is like a timeline. So every time, and like it's like it consists of like thousands or millions of years. So that is what it is being said, that we all take birth and rebirth during that Kal Khanda. So Brahma year, Brahma time is thousands of Mahayugas. So one yuga is like how many years? And then I think it's like one yuga is 12 years or something. And then it's like thousands of Mahayugas. So maybe 1200 into 1000, something like that. So it is like exact calculation that is being said. And after that, the pralaya happens. Pralaya means like the earthquake kind of situation happens. And the whole thing, like the whole creation just sleeps. There's nothing. No one is there. Again, when Brahma wakes up after like the whole for like a whole yuga or Mahayuga, and then flower, trees, this, that, everything starts like blooming and the universe is created. So we know about Ice Age, right? That is proven, like Ice Age came. We also know that dinosaurs died when there was fire. So there are some of the proofs still, like people find it, but it is very clearly written in Yoga Vasishtha. When we did the Yoga Vasishtha, we did talk about all of those things. So before we end, let's just go back to the questions that was started in the beginning, because it is very important that we understand, yes, how we die, how we end our time, but again, what is Brahma? That was the first question. What is spirit? What is karma? What is adiboot? What is adidhav? What is adhiyagya? And how the Krishna can be realized. So these 7 questions. I'm just opening it to all of you because the concept is getting a little complicated, and we need to have like a really good understanding in order to implement it in our life, so that we can lead our life, the leadership that we are talking about, and the spiritual wisdom which can be combined to it, so that we can lead to the righteous, virtuous path. And this is happening in the battlefield. So we cannot see that we can forgive everyone. Right? So what is the right balance? What is the right thing to do in any kind of circumstances? So what I would like you to do, like let's take a case study. So come up with like any situation of your life which you're okay to share, and let's see how everything can be applied to it, so that moving forward, these things can be brought into fruition. So anyone wants to share their situation in their life, and if they want, and if they would like to see how those principles can be applied. अगर आप कोई काम कर रहे हो, है ना, तो जब आप काम कर रहे हो तो उसमें आपका मतलब कर्म क्या है ना, आपकी साधना क्या है। मतलब सब लोग काम कर रहे हैं ना, सिचुएशंस आती हैं कि कोई आपका काम कंप्लीट नहीं करके दे रहा है, somebody is not returning the work on time, कोई आपको चीट करके लेके चला गया, किसी को अपने पैसे दे दिए, उसने काम नहीं किया। उस सिचुएशंस, मतलब ये जो डे टू डे सिचुएशंस है कि लोग मुझे पूछते हैं, रोज पूछते हैं कि आई एम इन डेट, व्हाट टू डू, मेरा इतना कर्जा है, मैं कैसे उतारूं, या पैसे नहीं है, या एनफ पैसे नहीं है, या मेरे परिवार वालों ने मेरे से धोखे से पैसे ले लिए। ऐसी सिचुएशन मुझे रोज सुनाई पड़ती, लाइक आई गेट टू हियर दिस एवरी डे अराउंड मनी, और आई एम लुकिंग फॉर अ जॉब इन सर्टेन प्लेस एंड नहीं मिल रहा है, मेरा जॉब बहुत स्ट्रेसफुल है और मैं इससे कैसे बाहर आऊं, या मेरा बिजनेस नहीं चल रहा है, मैं कैसे बाहर आऊं। तो अगर ये सारे जो सिचुएशंस है उस पे ये जो गीता का जो हम ज्ञान बार बार बात कर रहे, ये क्योंकि मैं आप लोगों से जब बात करते आई ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट एंटिटीज, आई ऑल्सो टॉक अबाउट नेगेटिविटीज, राइट। तो अभी तक हम लोग वहां पे गीता में अभी तक उसके बारे में अभी तक कोई बात नहीं हुई, लेकिन अभी 8वें चैप्टर कर रही हैं, राइट। वी हैव टू गो 10 more chapters. So question, till now what we have learned so far, when somebody is looking for how to get out of debt, इतना बड़ा डेट है कि मैं अपने आप को बेच भी दूं तभी भी मैं वो कर्ज नहीं उतार सकता। रिमेम्बर, है ना,
तो
मैंने जो है यही पे लोगों से सुना है ना,
साधना करते हुए, ध्यान करते हुए और उसको बहुत फोकस करते हुए करते चले गए तो वो काम हुआ है
ना,
आपके द्वारा ही हुआ। इसमें कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकते। अभी कल ही 14 तारीख को मेरा एनओसी आया, भी लेटर भी आया। अभी हम तो आप बोलने ही वाले थे, जब हम बैंक से एनओसी का आ गया सर्टिफिकेट मेरे पास 14 जुलाई को, मेरे जन्मदिन के दिन ही वो सर्टिफिकेट उसी डेट को रिलीज हुआ। Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत congratulations. So I think Yvonne and Yash know गुंजन for a while, रितु और श्रावणी नहीं मालूम है, और अभी बहुत छोटा ग्रुप है क्योंकि गीता somehow सब लोगों को लगा कि गीता तो कहीं से भी पढ़ सकते हैं, शायद जो भी होगा मुझे नहीं पता, तो हर एक के कान में ये चीज जा भी नहीं सकती है। बट for all of you, where Gunjan was, कितना 2 years ago when we started, 2 years I think, 2 years. So he was in so much debt, and what I was saying that he was like, even if I sell myself I cannot get out of the debt. बाहर आ गया ना,
अब बहुत मतलब रिलैक्स फील करते, मतलब कोई भी काम मन से, मतलब पहले हर समय दिमाग में यही चलता रहता था कैसे ये होगा, कुछ भी नहीं समझ में आता था। अब क्लियर है और बाकी काम भी बहुत स्मूथली कर रहे हैं। अब ध्यान से कर रहे हैं कि जो भी होगा, जो मन से करो सब काम सफल होगा।
बिल्कुल।
और साथ में मेडिटेशन जरूरी है, उसके बिना नहीं होगा।
बिना मेडिटेशन के नहीं होगा।
नहीं होगा।
That is what is the core of it. That when people are like, can you tell me a remedy? No, I do not tell any remedy. I will only teach you how to meditate. And we will do all kinds of different meditations, because meditation is the only way to find clarity. आ जाती है ना, माइंड में क्लैरिटी आ जाती है तो सोल्यूशन भी आ जाती है। And just to tell all of you, like since most of you choose not to speak, so I'm okay with it, I don't mind, but I feel personally for me what it changed. I had no issues in my life, touch wood. I had no financial or physical or relationship issues in my life to start with. I was very lucky one to get started with that state. I had good education, I had a good job, I had, touch wood. But the day I said my life is 10 on 10, something happened that took my, जैसे होता है ना कि जो चीज हुई मेरे साथ वो मैं भी बताऊंगी नहीं, जब टाइम आएगा तो बताऊंगी, बट जो हुआ ऐसे लगा कि किसी ने ना मेरे पैर के नीचे से ना, जैसे कारपेट नहीं खींच लेते हैं, I was literally on the floor, जैसे मैं नाक के बल नीचे गिरी हुई थी। I just did not know what to do. Like everything I felt I learned is waste. जो भी मुझे पता था कि लाइफ के बारे में या रिलेशनशिप्स के बारे में या पैसे के बारे में या हर चीज के बारे में, I've just felt that every knowledge I had for my life, it is just broken, like किसी ने चूर दिया उसको. और all of a sudden जहां पे भी मैं देखूं, एक तो कुंडलिनी भी अवेकन हो रही थी, तो everything I felt was like so temporary. और fear was like at the roof. क्योंकि मूलाधार जैसे हिट होगा, आपका कुंडलिनी जब अवेकन होगा तो मूलाधार हिट होता है, और जैसे मूलाधार हिट हुआ, वो फियर, कितने लाइफ के फियर मेरे आगे बैठे हुए थे, कोई भी नहीं मेरे सामने, कोई भी घर में नहीं. आई हैड टू लीव माई जॉब, आई कुड नॉट सिट इन माई ऑफिस, आई कुड नॉट फोकस इवन फॉर 1 second. द एनर्जी विल गो अप डाउन, अप डाउन, अप डाउन. आई विल बी लाइक, देवी 1 minute, second minute I'm like down into the earth, not knowing anything. Again I'm up, again this whole thing went on for almost more than a year. इतनी मेडिटेशन, इतनी तपस्या हो रही. लेकिन ये जो चीजें, why I'm telling you all of this, that coming out from that journey, किसी की लाइफ में कोई भी सिचुएशन हो सकता है जो शॉकर हो सकता है. किसी का डेथ हो जाना, किसी का आपको अचानक से डिवोर्स हो जाना, या कोई ऐसी चीज जो आपको, मतलब आपको इमोशनली आपको ब्रेक कर दे, राइट, चूर चूर कर दे, जो आप बिलीव नहीं कर सकते हो कि ये चीज पॉसिबल है, वो आपके साथ अचानक से हो जाए, आपकी लाइफ उल्टी सीधी हो जाए. लेकिन अगर ये नॉलेज और अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी, दैट दिस वन थिंग दैट टॉट मी टू रियली फोकस ऑन माय इनर जर्नी. My outer journey looked perfect, but my inner journey was not perfect. I did not know that I could fear so much, or I could be in emotional pain. I could be in like so much of like insecurities. Like everything started manifesting in, and I had to work through it. With that journey, where I came was like I just became completely fearless. I have literally zero fear. I have no stage fear. I have no fear of talking to people. I have no fear that what other people are thinking about me. There would be time like I would not even tell people that I do healing. I have been doing healing since 2000, but I would not tell to most of the people. I would not post it on Facebook or anything because I did not want people to know what I do, at least to friends and family. Other people is fine. I just dropped everything, like, you know, because the fear, shame, guilt, they have very low vibrations. When you're not true to yourself, you're not, if you are like what you are, if you're not showing that, because you are just afraid that what other person will think, it will just take away the essence from you. So who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what action, and never ever shy off from helping somebody in front of you just by thinking that that's not my job. Taking action is speaking your truth, standing for truth, is always very important. Because like it is really inbuilt into the Indian culture. Just worry about your own business, mind your own business. Yes, I will be minding my own business, but the other person who is being bullied or talked through, if we do not stand for them, that also will leave the scar on your heart. So do not do anything which you will feel guilty later about it. So contemplate, think through it, and we will meet again tomorrow. Namah Shivaya. Shavni, you have to ask any question or you're good?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Morning.
मैम बोल रही हूँ मैम, आपने जो बोला है ना, जो मैं जब भी फोकस करने जाती हूँ, तब भी मुझे कोई ना कोई डिस्ट्रैक्ट, फैमिली से हो या मेरी बच्ची लोगों से हो, कोई ना कोई, मेरी हस्बैंड से हो, कोई ना कोई डिस्ट्रैक्ट आ जाता है. मैं एक समय में टाना 21 दिन तक या 41 डेज तक नहीं कर पाती. कुछ प्रॉब्लम आके मुझे वहां से डिस्ट्रैक्ट करके मैं इतना पीछे चली आती हूँ कि तब मुझे बहुत प्रॉब्लम होता है। तो ये मैं कैसे रिलीज करूं?
अब नहीं होगा, अब नहीं होगा। अभी तुम कितने टाइम से यहाँ पर आ रही हो मेरे मेडिटेशन सेशंस में?
1 मंथ हो गया मैम।
तो 21 से तो ऊपर हो ही चुका है।
यस मैम। तो एक अच्छा हुआ है मैम, मेरे अंदर जो फियर था वो मुझे रिलीज हुआ। मैं डिसीजन ले पाती हूँ अभी। पहले मुझे कंफ्यूजन होता था, ये करूँ ये करूँ ये करूँ ये ना करूँ, तो वो मुझे मेरे अंदर से एक डिसीजन लेने की एक ताकत आ गई है। जब भी मैं डिस्ट्रैक्ट होती हूँ, जब भी मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम होता है, मैं कृष्णा के ऊपर सरेंडर कर देती हूँ। ये मेरा अच्छा हुआ है मैम।
अच्छा हुआ है, तुम्हारे चेहरे पे बहुत ग्लो भी है। जब मैंने तुमको पहले देखा और अभी देखा, तुम्हारे चेहरे में भी फर्क है।
और एक अच्छा न्यूज भी है मैम, मेरी लड़की ICSE एग्जाम दिया है 80% आया है उसका।
कंग्रेचुलेशंस, कंग्रेचुलेशंस। बहुत अच्छी बात है, बहुत खुशी की बात है।
थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
आई एम सो हैप्पी फॉर यू। ऐसे ही साधना जब हम करते हैं ना, मैं तुमको बस इतना ही बता सकती हूँ कि एवरीवेयर अपने आप से काम बनता है, अपने आप से काम बनता है। थैंक्स रितु कंग्रेचुलेटिंग यू। ठीक है, तो आई लेट ऑल ऑफ यू गो and we will meet again tomorrow. I hope that I am doing justice with this huge it is Krishna consciousness spoken by Krishna himself, and I'm trying to interpret what he's trying to say, and still like I'm not going like word by word, line by line. I'm trying my level best to bring the essence so that we can apply it into our lives. So thank you everyone and see you all tomorrow.
मैम एक बात है मैम।
हाँ बोलो ना।
मेरे पापा मम्मी बोल रहे थे कि मैं ये गीता के सेशन के पहले के बहुत 1-2 महीने के पहले, पापा मम्मी तुम गीता पढ़ो और थोड़ा मन अच्छा होगा। तो मैंने पापा को बोला कि मैं पापा मेरा तो फैमिली है, मैं कैसे ये पूरा गीता एक दिन में, नहीं एक दिन में कैसे पढ़ूं, एक चैप्टर पढ़ो। तो मैं समझी कैसे पढ़ूं। तब तो मन से आता था, लेकिन कैसे पढ़ूं। तो आज मेरा वो ख्वाब पूरा हो गया मैम। हरे कृष्णा, थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
क्या पता तुम्हारे पापा मम्मी की वजह से मेरे दिमाग में आया होगा कि करो, ये भी तो हो सकता है। उन्होंने यूनिवर्स में छोड़ा होगा कि भाई मेरी बेटी को कोई गीता पढ़ाओ, फिर मुझे जो है लगा दिया काम पे कि चलो गीता पढ़ाओ। बिकॉज गुंजन को भी पता है, जो लोग मेरे साथ हैं, मुझे पता ही नहीं होता कि मैं नेक्स्ट मंथ क्या करूंगी। अभी तक भी मुझे नहीं पता कि नेक्स्ट मंथ क्या करूंगी।